Good afternoon, I'm Katie McCoy.
And I'm Melanie Walliser.
Coming up this afternoon, a giant teeter-totter was spotted on campus.
But first, UW-Eau Claire hosts events for Green Week.
Earth Day is next Friday, and the UW-Eau Claire Student Office of Sustainability is putting on events to celebrate. Green Week will kick off on Monday, April 18th with Earth Claire. This festival-like event will feature different environmental and sustainability organizations on campus and will include food, music, and giveaways. On Thursday, there will be a reusable bag giveaway in Davies Center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Friday, Earth Day, there will be a grand opening for the new Student Sustainability Resource Center. To wrap up the week, the Beaver Creek Reserve is hosting a run-walk event on Saturday. Participants will spread native seeds as they walk around the reserve. Throughout the week, McIntyre Library will be hosting a shoe drive, and Campus Closet is gathering donations of gently used clothing.
UWC's Center for Racial and Restorative Justice held the final installment of the Racing Towards Justice speaker series last Thursday. The guest speaker was cultural geographer Dr. Carolyn Finney. Dr. Finney has done over 200 virtual engagements to discuss her most recent work, what role race plays and how Americans interact with the land. Her featured presentation focused on justice and what justice demands in the conservation space. Acting Director of the CRRJ, Dr. Heather Ann Moody, says the Racing Towards Justice series will be a monthly program that students and faculty can look forward to in the following semesters.
The 66th session of the Student Senate elections will be taking place next week, with the race for student body president all but decided. Hear more with Max Haslow.
April is election season for UW-EC, as polls open from the 18th to the 20th. Students will be choosing from a wide variety of candidates to represent them as on-campus and off-campus senators, as well as electing a new executive administration. For members of the Senate's election committee, like Bailey Carruthers, high voter turnout for elections is key to making the voices of the student body heard.
It's important because we need to continue the legacy. We have the largest student voter turnout within the UW system, and we want to continue that. We want to make sure that students have the opportunity to use their voice to vote and represent individuals that they would like to see in office and ultimately represent them.
Though the race for Senate seats looks to be hotly contested, 2 administrative positions seem to have already been won. Senator Rosalyn Guyton is running unopposed for the spot of student body president, alongside vice presidential candidate Nick Johnson. Guyton, who is the current communications director for the Senate, says that her administration will be focused on improving the overall quality of life of students.
A couple of things working with our first generation students, making sure that we can have some sort of more things set in place for them that are not just financial or like programming wise, having actual better resources for them.
As the elections approach, current President Jaden McClinsky is using her last few weeks in office preparing for the transition of power. McClinsky is confident in the abilities of the incoming officials to lead the Senate.
They've each proven themselves to be very strong leaders and advocates, certainly fierce advocates. One in particular is very intensive in terms of knowing all of the policies and procedures, whereas the other certainly excels in the student advocacy and empathy piece. So I think that together they make a dynamic team and they will adequately represent the student body in the next session.
Students will be able to vote using ballots sent via email. Reporting for Update News, I'm Max Haslow.
For more information on Student Senate, the elections, and the candidates, visit the Student Senate section of the UW-EC website.
This Wednesday, UW-Eau Claire hosted a new experience to discuss implicit bias in the community.
Set up by Joshua Gonzalez, the Tunnel of Awareness is a branch of the Bias Inside Us event that was formerly hosted by the Pablo Center.
The Tunnel of Awareness event is a program that is aimed at educating students in a very engaging way. This year's theme is centered around implicit bias and some of the issues that stem from that.
The interactive event started in a room that talked about homophobia, then went into violence against people of color, leading into books that are banned. Then attendees were able to watch students from the theater honors class perform, followed by an opportunity to explore their implicit bias.
Biggest takeaway we're hoping for is just reflection on some of the ways that their implicit bias show up in their lives and hopefully through that reflection they come up with ways to address that implicit bias.
Several honors students performed their midterm projects at the event, ranging from dance to poetry and even artwork.
So a lot of the pieces that are being performed are inspired by pieces we've read in class. Like we read Twilight LA, we read the Laramie Project, a lot of theater pieces that had to do with social issues. So just a lot of them were in response to those kind of pieces.
Gonzalez even noted the educational benefits of attending the event.
Attending the Tunnel of Awareness does count towards some Tier 2 credits of the EDI certificate, so that's an additional plus into learning a little bit more about implicit bias.
The Tunnel of Awareness event was free for students. The event ran from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a good turnout. Reporting for Update News, I'm Delaney Reed.
For more information on the Tunnel of Awareness, check out UW-EC social media.
Coming up after the break, a UW-EC sorority raises money for a local food bank.
We'll be right back.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you. Have a career that really means something? Then do it. I dare you.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us.
Update News' Bridget Kelly has today's forecast.
After a blustery few days and a few flurries last night into today, our upcoming Easter weekend is looking to be a cold one. We're seeing winds from the west at 15 to 25 miles per hour, with the occasional gust up to 35 miles per hour. These breezy conditions are set to continue through the weekend as we stick under this cold front. We're seeing skies begin to clear up a bit this afternoon, giving us a taste of sunshine and a chance to hit a high of 37 degrees. The current temperature is 31 degrees, though the breeze is making it feel much chillier with a wind chill of 21 degrees. Tonight, we're seeing a partly cloudy sky with temperatures down in the 20s, and the wind chills will be in the teens overnight. We're looking at a few more flurries tomorrow morning, but don't worry, there should be little to no accumulation. The skies should clear up to bring us sun by Saturday afternoon, and with that sun coming into play, we may just hit a high of 40. Things will cool down Saturday night, but with that wind changing its course, we should hit the mid-40s for that Easter Sunday egg hunt, even though there is a slight chance of precipitation Sunday afternoon. Looking ahead to next week, we're going to see a few more April showers. That precipitation from Sunday is going to carry over into Monday for a good part of the day. But with that wind and cold front out of the way, we should be staying above freezing temperatures, ending the weeks with highs in the 50s and lows in the mid-30s. Even though we're seeing some flurries in the forecast, the city of Eau Claire is lifting alternate side parking early. Effective today, overnight parking is allowed on both sides of the street unless otherwise posted. This is Eau Claire's own Groundhog Day-esque test, bringing us the unofficial end of Eau Claire's winter. That's all I have for you this afternoon, Eau Claire. Make sure to stay warm and have a great weekend. I'm Bridget Kelly.
Thank you for that update, Bridget. The UW-EC sorority hosted an annual 24-hour teeter-totter-a-thon.
From Tuesday at 11 a.m. until Wednesday at the same time, the Alpha Zeta Delta sorority held their annual teeter-totter-a-thon. Since 2007, the sorority has been hosting an event where two people are on a seesaw for 24 hours to raise money for a charity of their choosing.
So it started yesterday at 11 and it's going to end today at 11. So full 24 hours, and then we've had events going on throughout the hours as well to kind of make everyone more excited about it.
Some of the events include a bake sale, sold snow cones, and a raffle with fun prize baskets donated by local businesses. They also raised awareness by hosting group exercises, such as group yoga. The event organizers discuss why this event is important to the community and to the university.
This has been our annual event just to fundraise each year. It's an event that we think kind of sets us apart on campus and often generates a lot of money for our fundraisers. So this year we are donating directly to Feed My People Food Bank, which is a local food bank in Eau Claire. And so basically the event is just to fundraise as much money we can to donate to them.
The charity this year, Feed My People Food Bank, is located in Eau Claire and is focused on ending hunger in central Wisconsin. In 2021, they distributed the equivalent of 5.5 million meals.
This event has raised about $2,000 so far, so we are really proud of everyone for all their hard work.
Despite the big storm on Tuesday night, there were always two people on the teeter-totter throughout the night when there was no thunder or lightning. This event is a great way for sorority sisters to come together, have fun, and raise money for a charity.
It's just it's like special to us because it supports our philanthropy, which is the Feed My People Food Bank, so it's really special to us to be able to raise money for a good cause and just get to spend time with our sisters and just come together to do something good for the community.
Reporting for Update News, I'm John Franklin.
If you would like to donate or volunteer with Feed My People, go to their website at fmpfoodbank.org.
Coming up next, the latest on Blue Gold sports and Blue Goals receive covered bike racks.
Stay tuned. You're watching Update News.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you. Have a career that really means something? Then do it. I dare you.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with two buckles? What do you even need two buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Update News. UW-Eau Claire recently installed shelters on campus to protect against Wisconsin weather. 2 shelters went up in front of suites and another between Schofield and Vicki Lord Larson Hall. Towers and Oak Ridge were the original locations for the 2 shelters now in front of the suites. The proposal came from the former director of the Student Office of Sustainability in December of 2018 and was passed by the Student Senate. The project was supposed to be completed summer of 2019 and had a budget of $119,000. The bike shelters were built in hope of further encouraging students to use sustainable modes of transportation year-round, as well as increase student safety by being well lit. The 3 shelters were put up this spring. The 2x suites are still awaiting installation of the bike racks. Now over to Elena with everything on Blue Gold Sports.
Thank you, Katie. Although weather was not on our side this week, it was still an eventful time for our Blue Gold athletes. The baseball team hosted UW-Whitewater on our home turf at Bollinger Field at the beginning of this week. In the first game of 4, the Blue Golds took a hard fall of 16-1 in 7 innings. Unfortunately, this streak continued into the next 2 games with an upsetting loss of 13-0 and then 11-3, unable to gain their footing and allowing Whitewater 6 runs in the 5th inning. But just when hope seemed to be lost, the Blue Golds rallied together their last game for a lead of 12-11 to finish off this week with a nail-biting win. They hope to make this part of a winning streak as they move 7-13 overall and play at UW-Platteville this Easter weekend. Similarly, the softball team played a doubleheader at UW-Platteville on Sunday. But unfortunately, they couldn't keep up their hot streak from last week and lost 5-4 both games. The Blue Golds started their second game with a 2-run lead in the first 3 innings due to their dominant pitching and strategic offense, but then lost their fire in the last 2 innings, allowing UW-Platteville to gain 5 runs for the win. The softball team moves 15-7 overall and will be playing against UW-Stevens Point on Bollinger Field next weekend. Now let's take a look at what the track team has been up to so far this season. The outdoor track team also headed to UW-Platteville on Wednesday for their second outdoor meet of the season. The players' excitement was high at practice on Tuesday, seeing that this season marks their first normal season in 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. At their first meet, the men's team placed 5th overall and the women's team placed 3rd. After talking to some of the athletes warming up, they said that their biggest goal is to get their marks down and keep improving so they can end their season on the highest note possible.
With the weather being a little dicey, I think the biggest expectation is just to get some marks for conference. So only the top 24 people in each event can get into conference. So hopefully we can get a few marks in a few events so that we have some marks for some kids just to get into conference. I think it's just the coaches going in with the mindset and reinforcing to the kids that we're there just to get marks and not worry about like maybe hitting top performances so that they're not disappointed with what happens and more just want to go compete.
The track team, good luck as they head to lacrosse next weekend. That's everything for this week. Keep showing your support for our fellow Blue Golds by attending some home games next week at Bollinger Field. Back to you, Katie and Melanie. Thank you, Elena, for that update.
Coming up after the break, the V-Ball returned to UW-Eau Claire.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
I dare you to be somebody important.
Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star.
I dare you to stand up here.
To call the shots.
To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you. Have a career that really means something?
Then do it.
I dare you.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. The Viennese Ball returned to UW-Eau Claire last weekend for the first time since 2019. Reporter Katie McCoy has the story.
The Viennese Ball has been a UW-Eau Claire tradition for 49 years. Inspired by the Kaiser Ball in Vienna, the Viennese Ball is a fundraiser for the music and theater arts programs.
It's just something that's very unique to Eau Claire, and it's the largest Viennese ball outside of Vienna. It's just this really fantastic draw that you can't experience in really the rest of the country.
Because of COVID protocols, the ball was unable to be put on for 2 years. Edmondson says that the pandemic gave the planning committee time to step back and reevaluate the event.
We got to dive down deeper into what was really working, what traditions were really impactful and necessary, and then we got to open up those doors to the possibilities.
New this year is a late night theme, including a new food menu, a European-style DJ, and a circus-style performance.
We're really excited to add some new kind of late night flair.
The time away has created a new energy surrounding the ball.
I think a lot of people are very hungry for this style of event and this type of event, and just to get back to some of the traditions.
Students are excited for this event as well.
Definitely looking forward to just hearing live music, because I haven't been able to see a ton of live music recently.
Edmondson says that he is happy the ball has returned.
The excitement, the wonder, the wow. I think getting that energy from the patrons is just really exciting.
Reporting for Update News, I'm Katie McCoy.
The Viennese Ball will return again next year.
Well, that's all we have for you today.
We'll see you back here next week with your latest university news.
I'm Katie McCoy.
And I'm Melanie Walliser. Thank you for staying updated.
We're good.